Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rox and I'm coming to you today with the final review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, the reunion for season 5, part 3. We are at the very end, and I can tell you what, the very end sure did give us a couple of surprises, right? If it wasn't really surprises, it was just really interesting. I was just sitting there like, okay, and everybody on the screen was just like, okay. I didn't write out no notes or anything. I mean, I got a few little notes in my old handy dandy phone here, but everything else is just kind of, I'm just kind of going off the top of the head because I didn't feel like writing no shit down, y'all. Anybody got time for all of that? I got to get to lunch and get me something to eat and everything. So, yeah, let's just talk about the show. Let's get to it. All right, you guys. Now, before we get to the nitty gritty of the show, we can talk about what was the pleasantries, okay? And basically, the pleasantries was when we was talking about Kandi and Todd's relationship. Y'all know that this part of the reunion was when the men came in, okay? So, you know, they talked about Todd and Kandi's relationship. I really thought it was really nice to see. I mean, Todd clearly loves this woman, and she clearly loves him, you guys, and she was really proud of him, you know. They talked about, whether or not Nene was throwing some shade against her ring. Nene has like a 10-carat diamond ring compared to her ring, which is, I've never really seen what it is. It looks like it's sort of like a cluster type ring, but it's what she liked, and it's what Todd liked, and and Nene didn't want to admit that she did throw some shade. She said, "Oh, what did I say?" And Kandi was just like, "Well, you didn't really say that per se, but you did throw a little shade about my ring." Yeah, Nene kind of knew she did, so she just left it alone. But other than that, it was nice when Todd got out there. Basically, we already knew that Todd was not really excited about being on the show. But, like he said, he's there to support his woman. And whatever she wants to do, if he feels like he can help her in doing so, then that's what he's there for. And I mean, just all the right answers, okay? Todd seems to be a stand-up guy. So far, I like him. I ain't heard nothing bad about him. More power to him and Kandi. So that's all the pleasantries. Let's get to the shit. So the biggest part of the show last night was talking about Walter and Kenya's relationship and whether or not it was real. Okay, Andy just flat out asked her, "Was your relationship real with Walter?" And Kenya just flat out answered him, "Yes, it was." We all know that Kenya and Walter's relationship was some bullshit. It was not a real relationship, at least not to the point where she was trying to make it seem. I think that more of what their relationship was hey, I'm in LA, hey, I'm in Atlanta, and let's get together and have some coffee if you get a chance. Nothing more than that. But I think Kenya was able to try to use that and try to build on the relationship for the show, and the shit backfired. And he was not believing the bullshit, okay? He went around the room and was just like, does anybody in this room believe that Walter and Kenya's relationship was real? Nobody raised their hand. That shit was quiet as a church mouse. Nene was just like, listen, I just never thought that it was real because I never saw any kind of connection between the two of them. It's like they didn't even touch each other. It was like it was no intimacy. You would think that they would have that. Now, she stuck strong to the lie, okay? And if you're gonna lie, stick to that shit, okay? So I got to give it to Kenya for that. But yeah, baby girl, now you know you lying, all right? Even Cynthia asked her, did you guys ever have sex? And she was like, let me just tell you something. It takes a whole lot to get into this cookie jar. And I was just like, okay, well, that's all fine and good, but 2 fucking years? I mean, for real, what man are you trying to be dating for 2 damn years unless you guys have an explicit agreement that you guys are doing this whole what's the word when you ain't having sex? See, why I can't think of the word. When you trying to not have sex, I can't think of the word. Anyway, celibate. When you're trying to be celibate, unless you guys have an explicit agreement, I don't know no man that's gonna sit there and let your ass be up there looking in their face, titties and ass, and getting out the shower and sitting around and laying on the couch and laying in the bed and all this shit, and you guys don't fuck. Okay, now I'm just being as real as I can with that, you guys. Ain't no women, ain't no couple doing that, not for no 2 years. Like I said, that was a just let's get together for coffee type relationship. So they started talking to her about the fact that she was flirting with everybody. Phaedra had some choice words for her and said I called her a whore because that's what she was. And Kenya was like, honey, I am not a whore, and you a whore. You the one that slept with the convicted felon and before you even got married, and then could lie about how pregnant you were. And I was like, damn, I mean, just ain't pulling no punches. That shit was so cutthroat. Y'all know that Kenya tried to make it seem like she was starting to suspect that Walter was gay. Andy was just like, are you kind of assassinating this character, you know, questioning his sexuality? And she was just like, listen, there's nothing wrong with being gay. It shouldn't be a problem with me wondering if he's gay, wondering if he's gay, if I was starting to feel like maybe that was the case. And Andy, now Andy is gay. And Andy was like, listen, if you are a man, and you are having your sexuality questioned on national television, I would believe that you should know that that is character assassination. No man wants their damn sexuality questioned, especially a straight man. You know that, and quit fucking sitting up here and act like you didn't know that. Okay, well, Kenya wasn't coming up off that lie. I'm telling you, she good at lying. And so the shit was kind of all over the place. It was even funny when Andy asked Candy, like, okay, well, Candy, what did you think about supposedly Walter and Kenya being together? Because he had asked you out, right? He asked me out like maybe 2 months before that, and supposedly they were already together. So, you know, I called my friend and I was just like, what's up with you trying to set me up with this guy? Yeah, Walter was not with Kenya. Kenya, come on now. We gonna really try to keep up with this lie? She tried to stick with it as long as she can, you guys, but them men got their ass out there, and where the women have been pretty politically correct with this whole issue, the men didn't give a fuck, okay? Because the men have developed a relationship with Walter. They consider Walter their homeboy. Walter was not there to defend himself. So I guess they take it upon themselves to do, you know, to defend him. Peter was just like, now I gotta say that I'm enjoying Peter this season. I did enjoy Peter this season. I think this is the first season really where I kind of just liked Peter. And I think it's because Peter is in the same place that Nene is. Like, he just got a little money in his pocket. His bar is doing pretty good out here. He's doing well on the show. Him and Cynthia, you know, they're getting their money back up. And, you know, ain't nothing like some fucking money in your pocket to change your attitude. Hell, it always got me acting right. I'm enjoying Peter, and I was so glad that Peter, now he was still being messy, but he was really just kind of letting her have it. And he asked the men, do you guys believe that Walter and Kenya had a real relationship? And they all was like, no. Okay. And, you know, he asked Kenya again, how does she feel about the fact that nobody up there believed her, and she, you know, she stuck to the lie. Peter was just like, you know what, you really got a whole lot to say about this whole thing, but you know, it just doesn't make no sense. Okay, now all of a sudden you gonna be wanting to be with this man for 2 years, and you chasing him, and you guys supposed to be in this real relationship. However, after it doesn't work out, that all of a sudden he's gay. Like, what does that say about you? Why would you even be with a man that's gay if he wasn't really gay? She was just like, well, I had a right to question if he was gay, but he was just like, yeah, but that don't make sense. Okay, so you gonna be with somebody who was gay, and you want us all to believe that you guys was getting married, and you know, she could not climb out of that hole. I just laughed because Apollo and Peter both was just asking her question after question after question. Now, when the night got real strange is when Andy was just like, Apollo, how do you feel about Kenya? He was just like, you know, I don't really have no feelings about Kenya. I don't really know her other than, you know, the business deal that went bad. I don't, you know, but other than that, I don't, you know, really know nothing about her. And, you know, other than my wife doesn't like her and this and that and the other. And so then Phaedra kind of jumps in the cosign, and then Kenya was like, well, tell your husband to quit texting me. I was like, uh-oh. Now we get into the good part. He was just like, what? I haven't been texting you. I haven't been texting. She was like, I got it right here on my phone. No, I wasn't texting you. You was texting me. What about when we was in LA? What about when we was at the Beverly Wilshire? I had to leave the Beverly Wilshire and go check in the Lowe's hotel just to get away from you because you was texting me. And I was like, all right. What about when we was on Wendy Williams? And what did you say to me when we was walking by? You know, and she was just like, you was sending me texts and how you wanted to get with me. And he was saying that she was sending him texts about all this and how she could do all these things that his wife ain't doing for her and all this crazy shit, you guys. Now listen. That goddamn Apollo was awful defensive. That's all I can say, okay? I think there's something real inappropriate went on between the two of them. Do I think that they messed around? No. But I think that there was a lot of flirting, some innuendo, and some, you know, some shit that was inappropriate between the two of them. Definitely so. And then he said he told his wife, yeah, you told your wife because you knew that messy ass Kenya was gonna get her ass up on that stage and tell it. Okay, so you best to tell Phaedra ahead of time before she before she get blindsided on the show, you even got your ass put out that night. You know Apollo ain't pulling no damn shots around that house. I was so uncomfortable for Phaedra because, I mean, how do you sit there and listen and have to listen to your husband defending himself against whether or not he was texting Kenya? First of all, why do you guys fucking have each other's numbers? Why are you guys texting each other at all? So I was embarrassed for Phaedra. Phaedra just sat there looking real miserable. I almost feel like Phaedra had even found out a little bit more than she probably already knew, and she just looked like she was over it. I just wanted Apollo to just shut up, okay, because it was just like, you just made it worse. You was part of that, all that fucking fun, happy tee-hee-hee and back and forth with the girl, flirting back and forth and all that shit. Yeah, nigga, you know you was trying to get you some. And then lastly, you guys, the whole little thing with Portia. Okay, you know, I felt so embarrassed for her. People were saying that they felt sorry for her. I was feeling more embarrassed because I've been trying to tell you guys from the while ago that sometimes when shit ain't all the way 100% right in the marriage, you need to just not say shit about it, okay? You need to just be married, work on your problems, and just kind of leave it like that, because the shit always come back to bite you in the ass, okay? And where it came back is when she was doing all that big talk about she's married and she is great and that she lives a wonderful life and she don't work and he buys her gifts all the time and all of this. The nigga ain't sitting behind you. I was so glad when Peter was just like, all of this you doing and I'm real mad that he's not here, okay? He should be holding you down. You sitting up here singing his damn swan song and the nigga ain't even here. But what did she say that he had to do? Work.
Yeah, he had to see, he has a radio show and he had to work on his radio show and he don't get off till 6 o'clock, and then after 6 o'clock then he had to meet with the owner of the radio show, so that's why he couldn't be here today. But I'm here representing for both of us. Girl, you don't think that now this fucking radio show that he don't even need, he don't need that damn job, you don't think that it would be important to him to be at a show like this? I mean, considering that this was the big reunion finale, that he would be there. Come on now, Portia, girl, you should have just been like, I don't know where he is. He's supposed to be in here 10 minutes ago. He ain't showed up yet. But you know, they let Portia, you know, say what she needed to say. I mean, I understand that she had a lot on her chest. You know, Portia has gotten kind of beat up this season. Just because I still stick to what I said, that she's quite naive, not really the smartest, but this show has really helped her grow up. She was going on and on about saying that she just felt like these women didn't really support her and try to help her and give her some knowledge, and that's what she was coming for. Might have been very naive of her, but you know, she had her big moment. She said all that she had to say. I was pretty proud of her. Good for Portia, okay? It was the little Pomeranian, just a yip, 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 but in all of that she said, I got what she was trying to say. Nene was like, now wait a minute. First of all, let me just kind of tell you something. We've all been through here. We've all been where you've been. This is the first season. Yeah, this was your first season. It's very difficult, but it's been very difficult for everybody who had their first season here. Now, you didn't watch this show. The shit been on for 4 seasons before you got here. You knew what you was walking into. It wasn't like when we first started. When I first got here, I didn't have shit. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't have nothing to go by other than the damn white chicks on the Orange County. You know, we black. We got a totally different experience here. So we kind of just had to set the groundwork, okay, for you to be able to step into where you are today. We done all had rough first seasons, okay, so this ain't nothing new, and don't act like you didn't know that you was about to step into a situation where these women are not really that supportive of each other. There's a lot of cattiness, there's a lot of arguments, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of backbiting, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. You know, it's just like you should have known this by now. For you to think that you was gonna come here and get whatever it was that you thought you was gonna get, maybe you was really kind of overlooking it, okay? Maybe you was overthrowing what this was gonna be. I understood both sides. I was glad that Nene said it. All of the women were shaking their heads because I know, you guys remember the first season that Phaedra was there, she was tripping about the fact that she couldn't tell you when the baby was due and all of that, and you guys remember the first season with Nene. Of course, you guys remember Candy's first season, how hard it was with AJ and everybody complaining that he didn't do shit but live off of her. First season for Cynthia has been just like, you know, Peter ran her and controlled her. Everybody had a bad first season. I can't really feel sorry for Portia. You wanted to be on the show, you wanted the limelight and all of that, then that's exactly what you get. You get all the shit that come with it, though. But I bet you that the benefits of her being on the show is much greater than the
downfall. All right, you guys, so that's it. Kind of rambly, huh? I had no notes, but that's what happens when you don't have your notes. It done got hot. Starting to sweat a little bit. Love Hip Hop ATL comes on tonight, so I am excited about that. We will definitely have a review up for that tomorrow. Also, Roxicology, you guys, I recorded the Roxicology, and then I was editing it, and I was like, oh, Roxanne, you was kind of mean. So I did like 10 letters. First of all, you guys sent me a whole bunch of letters, okay, like 30. And I did 10. I don't need no more letters for a while because I got to try to get all these letters that I have out of the way. And then we'll pick up from there. But yeah, I'm going to have Roxicology up this week. I got to try to see if maybe I might record it again because I guess I was in a bad mood. I wasn't really nice. I was like, ooh. But that's it. You guys remember to rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm itsrox, and my channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar below. Okay? Alright, so I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.